Hey everyone, I'm Alexandra. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's going to be a little bit different than some of the rest of my videos. I haven't made a video about this topic before because of the visceral reaction that it invokes. Name-calling, anger, rage. Quite frankly, the reaction is untenable. But the longer I try to avoid it, the more I feel like I have to address it. That topic is the shape of the Earth. So let's not talk about proofs exposing or debunking. What I want to talk about is how the shape of the Earth fits into programming. Oh, and maybe you've noticed that I disabled comments for this video. Comments won't change anyone's mind, but they can hurt people's feelings. But don't worry, if you hate me and you hate this video, you can still dislike it. Recently, there's been a wave of propaganda against the Flat Earth movement. But this is not about information, this is about censorship. This disinfo propaganda campaign is put out by governments and corporations like Disney, other mainstream media institutions, news personality agents, as well as internet influencers like Logan Paul and Shane Dawson, who, by the way, have the same video editor and are part of the same Hollywood studio in LA. This campaign should tell you that the establishment is panicking and are trying desperately to cover up the truth. Otherwise, why would these organizations waste so much time and money? The infection of misinformation is to ensure that real information can no longer be found. If you can't get critical information on a subject, how can you educate yourself? They don't want you to think critically. They want you to repeat what you've seen on the sites that they approve for you. That way, you have no facts, but you still have an unwavering opinion. That should tell you that there's something here that they don't want the public to know. If someone is threatening you, it's from a position of weakness. If you weren't close to the truth, why would they be trying to stop you? After all, 6 companies own all of the mainstream media. So recently this mockumentary came out called Flat Earth to the Edge and Back.
No, I don't think the Earth is flat. I think that's the dumbest I've heard in my life.
The entire movie is a joke. No, literally, it's meant to be a joke. It's a profanity-laced parody of people who believe that the Earth is flat, and it's presented as if it should be on Adult Swim. Oh wait, yeah, they've already done that with the whole craft punk political party thing, making fun of flat earthers. One of Logan Paul's friends claims to be a flat earther and tries to convince Logan that the Earth is flat. The whole movie makes fun of Flat Earth while promoting the Flat Earth Society in subtle ways. Now, the Flat Earth Society is owned by the cabal and spreads disinformation. It was put in place to stop or confuse people who wanted to learn more. Now, if you don't know who Logan Paul is,
wildly popular on YouTube with millions of kids watching all of his videos, endorsement deals from companies like Pepsi and HBO.
He's well known on YouTube for his pranks. Well, other than filming a dead body and being generally disrespectful, he's known for pranks. His brother Jake Paul was on the Disney Channel, and the two were seen quite often together. If you know the history of the Disney dynasty, this should start to make more sense. Disney, along with many other things, such as being a programming site, has a long record of producing monarch victims. Just one recent example is Dove Cameron, who became famous on Disney's Liv and Maddie, another depiction of splitting a personality on camera like Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana. Dove tweets family-friendly things like, "You are such an idiot," to Donald Trump. She posts photos like this, "Demon confirmed," and of course like this. Her whole beta programming has been manifesting in her obsession with goddess worship. ABC's Nightline had a segment on Logan Paul's mockumentary. However, they presented it as if it was an authoritative piece.
In the age of misinformation, conspiracies, myths, and outright lies can live a long life on social media. Take, for example, those who believe the Earth is flat. Mix that with YouTube bad boy Logan Paul, who made a controversial mockumentary about the Flat Earth movement, and suddenly the truth gets lost. Okay, now let's get one thing straight. The Earth is round. You know it, I know it, Logan Paul knows it.
The bandwagon fallacy. The popularity of an idea doesn't determine its truth. Most of us were subjects to the same indoctrination via school, culture, and media, so it's likely we believe things that are wrong.
Explain to me what kind of space YouTube is for mistruths.
It's ground zero.
If you were to ask me why the Earth is round, the simple answer would be gravity.
You have to rely on people to be independently smart enough to say this seems ridiculous and to seek out information from sources that are verifiable and trustworthy.
By the way, Disney owns ABC. Disney is pushing this agenda, and did so in a way to present it to the younger generation, so that they may reject this idea before they even question their own beliefs. Why so desperate?
And more than 8 billion fans from around the world are expected to tune in to the wildly successful show. Here's our Lisa Guerrero.
There's never been a global television event like Game of Thrones. The numbers are huge because Game of Thrones is not just HBO's biggest hit ever, but because it's also going to be shown in 170
countries around the world.
In this globally connected world in which we live, HBO has come up with a unique way of avoiding spoilers.
When there's not a logical reason for an action, you should start to question it. When there's a physiological reaction, like anger or aggression, you should also start to question it. The internet is a breeding ground for comments like this. And of course, the point of this Nightline segment was to praise Logan and scare the viewers about controversial videos on YouTube. Much like the one you're watching right now. You know, things like this are an unacceptable cancer. Yet this person who films a dead body isn't. Or maybe the fact YouTube remained silent during the phenomenon of watching someone slowly kill themselves in front of thousands of horrified viewers. But sharing views different from the norm, or that deviate from the script, is unjustifiably evil. This is also not the first time that a Disney victim trolled people on the internet. Of course, this ruined Cole Sprouse's career, but Logan goes untouched.
Even Stevens is a classic Disney Channel show that apparently taught a lot of kids when we went to the moon. 1969, not a year before or after.
We went to the moon in 1969, not 1970, a year before. The rocket that flew had a really neat design. When it took off in the end, it's really cool. We went to the moon in 1969. We went to the moon in 1969.
Cardi B singing about the moon.
These are a few other common logical fallacies regarding the Flat Earth movement. A common statement: scientists say. That is an appeal to authority fallacy. Just because someone has a degree and/or notoriety does not mean what they say is true. The more well-known they are, the more likely they are to be a puppet of the elite. How could all space agencies lie? This is an example of personal incredulity. When you're naive and gullible, it's hard to believe people lie. But your lack of understanding doesn't change the facts. This statement is easily answered once you realize that all space agencies are owned by the same generational families. The same ones that own the media, agriculture, the medical institutions, and so on. Now someone says Earth is not an accelerating disk, or ask why we don't fall off the edge, or it can't be flat because there are mountains. This is called a straw man argument. Real flat earthers don't say Earth is a disk accelerating upwards. That's part of a misinformation campaign the statement maker has correctly parroted. Prove the Earth is flat. This is the burden of proof. The burden of proof lies with the one making the claim. Flat Earth is not a claim, it is an observation. Examples of claims include Earth is spinning or Earth is a globe. Anyway, the network or the establishment goes by many names. It's made up of generational families in power who represent the hidden hand throughout history.
The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exists for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power set. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power.
He tells you who the establishment is. He also uses the word global, and the video shows a few images of the globe.
You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it.
Yes, Trump attacks the cabal in this video, but the alliance depends on the continuation of this lie as well. Not only to keep their faith and hope in exploring space, but their belief system, like the New Age, incorporates extraterrestrials and planets. So the globe is a necessary part of programming any false belief system. When you get down to the micro levels of all of these organizations like NASA or observatories, they run very well, or the lies hold themselves up. These institutions are compartmentalized like H.H. Holmes's hotel. No one has the full picture. If you haven't already, I suggest researching Operation Bloodstone or Paperclip and the origins of NASA. Back to the network or the establishment. They enforce the propagation of disinformation to influence the masses to self-enforce the narrative or belief systems that shape our reality. An agent of influence is someone who might be unwitting, under mind control, or ideologically motivated to use their positions of influence to sway the minds of others. Examples of agents of influence are anchormen on TV, journalists, academics quoted by the media, celebrities, some politicians, and of course, internet influencers. Many of them are related. Oftentimes, I find the people that reject the flat earth model don't even know what they're rejecting. Most don't even understand the flat earth model. They assume something like this. Still part of the heliocentric model of spherical planets, just replace the Earth with a cracker. That's ridiculous, and not at all what any flat earther knows. Instead, this is what our ancestors knew. And according to a Masonic Bible, Egyptians thought the shape of the world was an oblong square. Helios was the Titan god of the sun, a guardian of oaths and the god of sight. He dwelt in a golden palace in the river Oceanus, at the far ends of the earth, from which he emerged each dawn, crowned with the aureole of the sun, driving a chariot drawn by 4 winged steeds. Helios was depicted as a handsome, usually beardless man clothed in purple robes. Helios was identified with several other gods of fire and light, such as Apollo. The heliocentric model of the solar system, also called the Copernican model, is a sun-centered model. Heliocentrism positions the sun in the center of the solar system, motionless, with Earth and the other planets rotating around it in circular paths modified by epicycles and at uniform speeds. Nicholas Copernicus was a Polish astronomer, mathematician, and a Catholic cleric. Alchemy and Hermetic magic features in the origins of the scientific revolution. Copernicus, Kepler, Galileo, and Newton were all interested in alchemic ideas and Hermetic principles. The Royal Society features as ground zero for the birth of modern science. Virtually all Royal Society's founding members were Freemasons. One could reasonably argue that the Royal Society itself, at least in its inception, was a Masonic institution. One cannot be a Freemason if they're an atheist. They must believe in a god, a goddess, or some higher entity, because Freemason is part of the mystery religions. The people who laid the framework for science were religious. Remember how these occultists seek first the light, or to be given sight, which is of course what Helios is the god of. The ones who brought about the literal planetary revolution were all members of one of the largest and oldest secret societies in existence. This is not a coincidence, but proof of organized collusion in creating and maintaining this generational lie. The sun is revered in the world's religions, such as how the Druids celebrate the rebirth of the sun during the winter solstice.
So let's give a rousing cheer for the returning sun god. Yeah!